Welcome back, explorers. My name is Packer and welcome back to another Fakemon video. In today's video I have 6 Pokemon designs for you which I entered in a competition hosted by TrueGreen7. In this competition, TrueGreen created 3 starter Pokemon and you could pick 1 to 3 of them to design mid-stage and final stage evolutions for. So I created a mid-stage and final stage for all 3 of his designs. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. For my first Pokemon, I'll be creating an evolution for the grass starter called Sleeth. Sleeth is a sloth Pokemon with elements such as a tuft of green hair on its head, as well as quite big claws. Sloths live in South America where it rains a lot, and mid-stage Pokemon are known to be both unique and awkward, so I'll give it a raincoat poncho made of leaves. As for its face, I'll protrude its nose out a bit and give it a friendly expression, as well as a bit of a brown around its mouth. Its arms and claws are crossed like a monk, which will hint at what it will evolve into. Introducing Slothoncho, the sloth Pokemon from Sloth and Poncho, a pure grass type with the abilities Overgrow and Overcoat, and hidden ability Grassy Surge. Slothoncho are known for their relaxed and laid back nature and are often seen walking around in nature, taking everyone and everything in. It can sense when an immense rainstorm is on its way days in advance and will make other Pokemon a raincoat poncho. This Pokemon is very charismatic and was fun to create. If Game Freak created it, then it would become my favourite mid-stage starter Pokemon. Now, onto its evolution. As grass-type Pokemon tend to be based off extinct animals, I'll base it off the giant ground sloth called Megatherium. It was big and bulky and would create smooth burrows, so I'll give it a secondary ground typing. As I've hinted at, I'll also combine it with a monk. So I'll start with the basic silhouette of a Megatherium and give it a bald spot on its head, along with hair running down the side of its head. Once again, I'll give it a friendly expression, and I'll pose one of its arms upwards and towards you like it can bring peace to an angry Pokemon. Instead of a raincoat poncho, I'll give it drapes that run down its back and both sides of the front of its body. These drapes are sometimes worn by actual priests, so it fits this Pokemon well, and they also will be made from leaves. I'll give the claws on its hands a dirt colour as well as give it stripes that run down its arms and legs. Introducing Monkterium, the monk Pokemon, from Monk, terra meaning ground, and Megatherium, a grass and ground type, with the abilities Overgrow, Overcoat and Grassy Terrain. Monkterium are quite a lazy Pokemon, only emerging from their smooth burrows on Sunday. Once out of their burrow, however, they work tirelessly to help Pokemon in need, going as far as offering up their own burrow if needs be. If this happens enough, a Monkterium will create a cathedral-like burrow for the greater good of helping out the most Pokemon. I don't know how I feel about this Pokemon because it might need something else or something different. However, I still think it's a good design. For my third Pokemon, I'll be basing it off of the fire starter Pokemon Quick Kindle, which appears to be a Roadrunner with a white, red and yellow colouring. Roadrunners are known for their speed, so I'll develop this line with faster land-based birds in mind. The Chocobo is a fictional bird from Final Fantasy, and I'll use some of its attributes in this design, but it will mostly be just a transition between the final and first stage. I'll invert the fiery crest on its head and make it slightly bigger, as well as putting a fiery pattern on its beak. Then a blue pattern will be added to the neck and wing. Then the body will be covered in feathers in a fiery configuration. And finally, the white of the Prevo will become a grey ash colour. Introducing Chocol, the Chocobo Pokemon, from Chocobo and Coal, a pure fire type with the ability Blaze and hidden ability Speed Boost. Chocol are very competitive runners and are said to have infinite stamina, as it has never been witnessed to be exhausted. If you race a Chocol and don't put up a good competition, it will start to attack you relentlessly. This Pokemon was also challenging to create, as I didn't want it to look too close to a chicken, but I think I like how it turns out. What do you think? Now, onto its evolution. I want to develop it into a cassowary, a real world bird that runs very fast. As it runs fast, I will give it the electric typing and incorporate that into its biology. I'll turn the crest and wings into a lightning bolt that fire emanates off of. The beak and upper eyelid will also become thunderbolt shaped. The neck will be blue with red spots, and the main body will be more feral and fiery and a black colouring. The legs will be shaped like thunderbolts, and the whole silhouette is in a running motion. Introducing Blazellarate, the cassowary Pokemon from Blaze and Accelerate, a fire electric type with the abilities Blaze, Static and hidden ability Speed Boost. Wild Blazellarate have never been caught due to their high speed and stealth. They mark their territories with scorch marks in the shape of a thunderbolt to ward off rivals. If it wasn't for this behaviour and the existence of its pre-evolutions, this Pokemon would still be unknown to science. This Pokemon, in my opinion, is the design of mine that conveys the soul of a Pokemon the best. I'll look back on this Pokemon to see how I can capture the soul of this Pokemon again. Now, for my fifth Pokemon, I'll be basing it off the water starter Pokemon Iguana, which is based off the marine iguana with either eggshells or a white rock as a partial armour. Marine iguanas spend their time resting on land and have to enter the ocean in order to feed. So I'll develop this line with individuals who gradually evolve to become more capable of sustaining longer periods of time out at sea. For this mid-stage, I want to give it a partial sailor motif by giving it a sailor's cap that is just a couple of stones stacked onto each other. This mid-stage will also be responsible for transitioning between the white rock Iguana has and my stone of choice for the final stage, which is granite. So this mid-stage will also have a mix of the two stones. I'll give it a couple of spikes at the side of its head and pose its arms in a way that it looks ready for battle, as well as stone hands, which hints at how it will evolve in the future. I'll also develop the tail to have stone fins so it can swim faster. Now, introducing Igala, the sailor Pokemon from Iguana and Sailor, a water and rock type with the abilities Torrent and Shell Armor. Igala spends most of its time in tropical regions where it sets itself adrift from island to island on an adventure. On this adventure, they will try new cuisine and battle never before seen Pokemon. This Pokemon was a challenge, however, I think it turned out quite well. Now, onto its evolution, the final Pokemon of this video. I want to develop its sailor motif into that of a conquistador, who were Spanish military who conquered Mexico and Peru in the 16th century. They wore interesting helmets and used maces as weapons, so I'll incorporate that into their design, along with some armour. Marine iguanas' heads are more square, so I'll develop this Pokemon's head realistically and place the unique helmet on top, made of granite, along with some spikes. The granite hands of the Prevo have developed mace-like claws to clobber its enemies with. A front plate of granite covers its chest with a spike protruding out of its chest, whereas the back plate has a couple of half-hexagon fins. I'll give it a continuous stripe that goes from its head with a serious expression all the way down to its tail, which has developed bigger fins for sailing. Introducing Conquanet, the Conquistador Pokemon from Conquistador, Aqua and Granite, a water and rock type with the abilities Torrent and Shell Armor. Conquanet like to go on the hunt for colonies of other Pokemon to take over their home and rule over it with a granite fist. Once a territory has been secured, they can live out the rest of their days in this one location. Out of the 3 final stages of these Pokemon, this one is my second favourite. Thank you for watching this video. I've enjoyed creating it. Please like, subscribe and follow, as it helps me out a lot. Farewell for now.